Welcome back with my Pat, Paula and Madeline. Also delighted to be joined, I say delighted, I've just found something out which may make that look ridiculous, but delighted to be joined by a very famous comedian. He's an Egyptian comedian called Bassem Youssef, who somehow has 10.9 million Twitter followers, which is more than me. He's currently on tour in the UK with his new show. So, Bassem, I was about to congratulate you on having more followers than me, and I went to look at you on Twitter and discoveed I'd blocked you.
Yes, you blocked
and I booked you to discuss cancel culture.
Yeah, you cancelled
me. And here I am, I blocked you.
You cancelled me.
Why did I block you?
Well, I was mean to you.
What did you say?
Well, you see, I'm already admitted that I was mean.
Yes.
So it was during the 6th of January insurrection, and you were, of course, angry, and then I was angry, and then I said, like, said the guy who had Donald Trump with him on his profile picture, and then, of course, you blocked me.
Yeah, well, OK, I've unblocked you, and I've now followed you.
Okay,
so you're uncancelled.
Okay,
although I don't think being blocked on Twitter is cancellation.
No, it's not. It's not.
Because you're still able to do what you want to do.
Yeah, you're free. You're free.
You shouldn't be forced to listen to it, right?
No, democracy is a noisy place.
Yeah.
But I don't have to be there when I don't listen to something I don't like.
Do you two block people?
Not much, actually.
No.
I prefer muting people.
Muting is quite fun because they don't even know you're muting.
I love the idea that they keep yelling into the void. Yeah. I don't know and I don't care and they don't know. Yeah. They just keep yelling. It's great.
I want to play a clip. This is Chris Rock. So we're only a few days away from the Oscars. And it was a year ago that the slap that went around the world was seen, where Chris Rock was punched by Will Smith for apparently mocking Will Smith's wife, Jada. This is what Chris Rock said in his Netflix special this week about this.
That's right, you say the wrong thing, get scared. Gotta watch out. You know what people say? They always say, words hurt. That's what they say. Gotta watch what you say, because words hurt. You know, anybody that says words hurt has never been punched in the face.
OK, so Bassem, look, you're a comedian, highly successful, but you come from Egypt where, you know, a lot of censorship goes on, a lot of suppression goes on. Not unknown, I suspect, for comedians to get, you know, punished or even put in prison on occasion.
Well, I got my show cancelled a couple of times.
Right.
And I had to eventually to leave. So that for me is cancelled.
But you fled to the West where you hoped there would be liberation and freedom for people like you. And you've come to a place where comedians are now getting punched and assaulted. Not just Chris Rock. I think Dave Chappelle it happened to on stage and others. Often for expressing, in Chappelle's case, you know, a view about, say, the transgender debate, which seemed to me completely reasonable. What does that say about comedy and where we are? And how does comedy come through this attempt to basically physically beat it into submission?
Well, first of all, people say, can comedy survive cancel culture? My question is, can cancel culture survive comedy? Because comedy will always be there. You cannot cancel comedy. You could be outraged, you can punch, you can slap, but these are isolated cases.
Have you had someone try to attack you?
No. No.
What would you do if they did? Would you?
I would punch back because I work out in the gym.
you look quite handy, actually. Should Chris Rock have punched Will Smith back?
No, I think Chris Rock got his revenge a year later with a $40 million check from Netflix.
Yes.
So that is something that will last longer. I would have loved if Chris Rock had sued Will Smith, because that was not cancel culture. That is assault.
No, but it's interesting, isn't it, Madeline? Because I remember at the time writing a piece almost defending Will Smith to a bit, where I thought that if he genuinely believed Chris Rock, who had a history of doing this to Jada Pinkett Smith, Will's wife, of mocking her, if he genuinely thought that Chris Rock, at the Oscars in front of 1 billion viewers, was mocking his wife's alopecia because she'd lost her hair, I think a lot of men might have stepped in and given him a slap. So it may have seemed insane, but it didn't seem that insane to me of a husband defending his wife against what he may have thought was a very personal attack.
I don't know. I mean, it's the Oscars, isn't it? It's not the WWE. You can't just go punching people.
Though.
You can't go punching people.
Well, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I could understand.
He's got 2 kids. He's got to set an example to his kids.
He has,
you can't just go punching
I'm watching
people.
Yellowstone at the moment, the cowboy drama with Kevin Costner. Every time there's any argument, they punch each other. So, I mean, there's something quite, you know, it's a throwback, but I'm not against it if people behave badly.
And as a martial artist, I can understand the need to...
You're a martial artist?
I am a martial artist.
Wow.
I can understand the need to want to defend yourself. But I think Madeline is right. You defend yourself in a smart way, and Chris Rock has been smart in that he's now got that paycheck.
But if you allow people to have a leeway of using physical force to stop people, where do you draw the line?
No, I agree. I think it's when you cross a line is when performers are performing. If you try and do that, it's completely wrong. Bassem, Where are we with the woke culture in comedy? Because Bill Maher in America says they've become now a much better source of joke material than the far right.
Well, you know, with the pendulum theory, it goes so far to the right, it comes back too far to the rest. Now, a lot of people make fun of the woke culture. And I think if people...
Do you use that? Do you mock that?
Yeah, sometimes. But my comedy is more about my personal journey, but I do sometimes in comedy because when a group of people feel themselves too entitled, too isolated, too protected, that's what happened. This is what happened with Dave Chappelle. I mean, like, why would transgender people or Muslim people or gay people or women be immune to satire?
Well, there used to be a comedian here called Bernard Manning. He was a rough northern comic, very inappropriate by today's standards, very offensive. But his view was he used to mock everybody because he couldn't understand why if you started making exceptions, well, where do you stop?
Yeah.
There is a kind of purity to that argument.
Absolutely, because a lot of people say, where do you draw the line? The better question is, who will draw the line?
Yeah.
And how do you guarantee that tomorrow that line will not recede on your own freedoms?
Well, I'm going to draw the line here. Bassem, you're on tour at the moment. Good luck with the tour. I'm so glad I've unblocked you.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm so glad I now follow you.
I'm happy that I came all the way to London.
But can you now follow me and tell your followers to follow me, all right?
I will
That's
tell,
the deal.
And I'd be nice and be nicer.
Thank you both very much indeed. Well, that's it from me.